Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot replay cast. We have got ourselves a match that I'm excited for because it's one that was sent in by a member of the community. And if someone looks at a game and says, it's gonna be good, odds are it's gonna be good. And so, without further ado, a bot I've never cast before, it is Dodo, which there's gotta be plenty of jokes about that name. And taking on Dodo is MechaShark. So, a TVZ MechaShark bot I have cast before, Dodo not one that I've cast before. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this replay cast, go ahead, slap that like button, leave a comment down below that says more bots, since we've got, how many, 8 workers mining on this base technically. You gotta love that bot mining. Let's go for 8 likes on this video. And of course, if you're a bot author or just a fan of the AIs, make sure to go ahead and send me any replays you got, as I do appreciate that very much. And so, let's see where this game is going to go from here. We have got 2 racks on the way up for MechaShark, so 1 in the front, 1 in the back, and then, yeah, just 1 gas. So we'll see where it's going to go from here. Potentially some Reapers, just a Marine for starters. 2 Marines, actually. And then, yeah, Dodo is just keeping its overlords back at home, so not utilizing those for a scout. So that might tell us a little bit about the bot, that it's not necessarily a reactive bot, per se. And then, let's see. Yeah, just pretty normal opening so far. Another thing coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Part of the reason why I'm actually making this video, it was Friday night as I record this, and I'm like, should I do a StarCraft video? I'm like, yes, I should, because I need to let everyone know that we got an Africa World coming up Sunday night, which is an awesome pro tournament. We have got a match that has 4 GSL champions in it, so 4 of the very best Korean players, some of the best StarCraft 2 players right now. They're actually all incredibly good, and I'm very excited as we have Dark coming to play. So make sure to join the Discord. We'll send out an announcement when that goes live, but it's Sunday night, 9 p.m., so very late for some of you, but that's sort of the way the times work when you're doing a Korean StarCraft tournament. And the VODs for that will be up on the channel, so keep an eye out for that. And so, we've got Stim on the way for MechaShark, and extra racks, a command center, very delayed compared to what a usual base is. So that's interesting. It's going to be very well defended, though, with a high Marine count. We've now got Dodo producing lots of Lings here, actually. Like, that's quite a few Lings. I didn't quite notice that the drones were cut at 20, but the drones were cut at 20. And so MechaShark's potentially going to be facing an attack, so I know I just said that it's very well defended, but with all these Marines, I mean, the Ling Floods are one of the things that have been killing Terran since the dawn of time. Interestingly enough, there is no Ling speed, however, so it's just a bunch of slow boys. I don't know what to make of that. Then we got lots of drones on the way here, too. So Dodo is actually macroing up a little bit behind this, so it's not going to be some big attack. And then let's take a look here. Yeah, Stim on the way, Factory on the way. Lots and lots of Marines being produced for MechaShark. Ling speed gets started up. So far, just 2 bases and 2 bots each. And so, yeah, I'm not sure which bot's going for the better strategy here. I think MechaShark is probably better building up. Yeah, we see a spine going up, interestingly enough, for Dodo. That's quite bizarre. As, I mean, spines are incredible defensive tools. Anything that's static defense that doesn't use supply, doesn't need to be microed, that sort of thing is wonderful in StarCraft 2. So I'm not knocking the fact that it's building a spine. Just sort of the time that it's building a spine is interesting. More queens on the way. No tech yet, despite the lair being built, more gas being built, and there's a spire going up. I'm loving this. Oh man, mutas are not something you see in a lot of these bot games, actually. Like, very rarely mutas. Like, it seems that all the bots build roaches for days for the most part. Occasionally we'll see mutas, but to see a bot going for what is effectively a 2-base spire play is definitely something. Like, this is not something that we see too often. The spine all of a sudden makes a lot more sense. The queens are just injecting the ever-living heck out of this hatchery. So that's going to be producing as much larva as they can off of just the 2 hatcheries. Combat shields on the way for MechaShark. But on paper, this is a counter by MechaShark for the mutas. Like, you're a Zerg, you're making mutas like, alright, I'm going to start harassing the Terran, who's probably building their 3rd command center. And then it's going to be like, nope, actually 30 Marines are going to roll across the map with Stim, Combat Shield, +1. So if MechaShark does that, we've got to be very concerned for the Dodo. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to say it'll soon be extinct. Yeah. Anyway. You know, here's a good thing for you guys to comment. What's your favorite extinct animal? I know there's a lot of animals that have been extinct in the past. Like, in my neck of the woods, there was like a bear that lived up until like just a few thousand years ago. That was like bigger than a polar bear, and yet somehow that thing went extinct. It's like, how does something like that die off? Well, it turns out humans probably hunted it, so I'm just very glad I'm not one of those humans. But anyway, let's take a look here. Is tomato a fruit or a vegetable? MechaShark having a very odd attack out prompt. Is tomato a fruit or a vegetable? I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a fruit. Oh dear, the mutas. Okay, MechaShark saying, I see the mutt-mutts. Mutalisk Rush, so MechaShark in theory having a very programmed response to this. The mutas being chased by the Marines. It's that unlimited APM thing though, as MechaShark's actually cruising up to 100k APM as it's controlling its units. More mutas, more Marines on the way here. Yeah, the mutas are kind of being cornered though, so this is how a Terran responds to mutas when it has unlimited APM. One of the mutts goes down to a turret, that randomly placed turret at the 3rd, but very well placed apparently. And so these mutas are actually not getting anything done. The other mutas are just running around, so those are being tagged perfectly. The mutts are just backing out. They're not really killing anything, and all of a sudden they're just really trapped in this corner. Oh my gosh, this is not good for Dodo. But then again, at the same time, it is saving itself from an attack for the most part. These mutas are actually engaging the Marines, so a little bit of skirmishing there. This is one of the things that's incredibly difficult to program. Making sure that your bot keeps its units safe, but then also being able to is very easy actually. Making sure your bot units don't die is one of the easiest things, but then making them attack, oh gosh, making them try to attack is a completely different thing. Ling's running up the ramp into a slaughter fest of Marines, so those 20 Lings that existed are long gone. A few more than that as well. Mutas are in the natural base. There's actually no turret there just yet. Potentially ever for MechaShark if it's not programmed to do that. So the turret at the 3rd was good. No turret at any other bases. So the mutas are getting some damage done. A lot of units have died on Dodo's side, but I mean the worker count is still very even. No Banelings are out for Dodo either. So if this bio ball ever crosses the map, I mean MechaShark would absolutely just win this game. Dodo is just producing units off 44 drones. MechaShark trying to build up its economy a little bit more, actually going up to 3 bases against a 3-base Zerg is very nice. What's the current muta count? 18 mutas, so the number is rising. And I mean, if the mutas do group up enough, there's a chance that MechaShark won't respond to this properly. I mean, it's doing a good job moving its Marines around. Like, this is where a Terran really benefits from unlimited APM. Trying to deal with Zerg mutas is a very difficult thing as a Terran. Not that you face that too much on the ladder anymore, I don't think. Yeah, so these mutas are going to be getting some efficiency, it looks like, and potentially just pulling MechaShark a million different ways. And I mean, this is kind of playing out like a human game, just in the sense that the mutas are bouncing around. MechaShark isn't sectioning off the right amount of units to deal with the mutas. Dodo keeping those injured mutas alive for the most part. But yeah, it's one of those things. MechaShark's actually being taxed all over the place. Like, Marines aren't sure exactly where to go, as there's just units all over the place. The SCV count is falling down to 34. Dodo isn't really capitalizing on that other than building more mutas, but if the muta count eventually reaches like 50, if this just goes on forever, MechaShark will just die. Interestingly enough, +2 armor's on the way, not +2 attack. There's the +2 attack starting, so the Marines are going to get better and do better and better against the mutas. But there we go, mutas coming on in, Marines responding, but the mutas stay alive. How many have fallen so far this game? 9. We saw a lot die in that initial attack, but I mean, look at this. Now Lings crossing the map, a couple Marauders being caught out. There is Medivac there with them. Muta's coming on in, though, potentially going to grab most of the Medivacs here. Let's see how many go down. Actually none, so good control there by MechaShark. There we go, some fly into the mutas. Marines are coming out to engage these. I really don't know how this game is going to progress. Yeah, Dodo is actually playing an incredible game here. I'm actually really, really loving this. And then let's take a look here. Yeah, Dodo is still just staying back off of 2 bases. Very simple or off of 3 bases. Very simple muta play. So it doesn't seem to have too much of a transition or anything planned, or it's sort of saving a lot of money by building up to 3,000 minerals in the bank. Almost no gas mining at the 3rd, which is unfortunate. So its economy could be managed better, but it's doing what seems to be its main function, which is keeping the Terran incredibly busy. Look at all these injured mutas, actually. Those were injured by Marines, and then they were just pulled back mechanically to get maximum efficiency. So the efficiency is insane from Dodo here. With the mutas, it would seem. I mean, a few mutas are dying here and there, but how many Marines have died? 47, which is no small number. The mutas are really engaging on top of these Marines, but they're getting out for the most part. They're kind of being cornered a little bit here, but it's unlimited APM for this bot. They're doing pretty hot. We see MechaShark actually cruising now to 100,000 APM. Oh my gosh, that is insane. Mine more minerals, says MechaShark. Yeah, it does need more minerals, and it is actually doing a good job of rebuilding the worker count, going back up to 45, tossing down mules. In comes a lot of Zerglings here, however, and so they're going to be engaging. The Marines will do pretty good with their upgrades. The 1-1 so far, the 2-2 will be done soon. There's the 2 armor, the 2 attack will be done soon. That's really going to improve things for MechaShark, and it's actually starting +3 armor, so good to see this bot progressing further and further in the game, whereas Dodo is really relying on a simple strategy here. The control is very well utilized by the mutas. It's great to see someone program a bot off one of the more iconic Starcraft functions, and the bot is doing it pretty darn well. I mean, we've seen 20 mutas go down, but they've been trading out pretty darn well. The mutas all over the place, killing off units here, there, and pretty much everywhere. And so it's one of those things, it's like, how scrappy this game is actually fantastic. Let's see, 3-3s on the way for MechaShark. So yeah, it is going to get a lot harder for Dodo, and I do worry that Dodo is going to be punished by its sort of lack of transition here. If it was just mining gas here a little bit more, it has the resources to toss up like 10 hatcheries if it wanted to. So it really could be zerging to the fullest extent, but it is just continuing on with its fairly simple strategy. That being said, though, I mean, MechaShark is losing more and more workers here, back down to 29. I just talked about how it was building up. Now it's building down. 37 Marines are still on the map, but that's against 33 mutas. These Marines are being engaged by the Lings. Their armor upgrades are really all that MechaShark has got going for it right now. We'll see if it can stabilize and potentially rebuild against all this. I mean, the 3-3 will be the saving grace, but the snowball is getting dangerously close for Dodo to kill MechaShark, as I mean, 17 SCVs is not enough to be pumping out Marines like it needs to. And then the damage is just huge. A lot of this supply is in Medivacs. Yeah, it's 33 Marines, 12 Medivacs, and the control for Dodo does seem to be working. The gases in the main base haven't mined out quite yet. I'm curious to see if Dodo will transition to mining at that 3rd or not, or whether that's pretty much just going to be that. And then let's see, yeah, these mutas still flying all over the place. MechaShark trying to rebuild SCVs, but it's one of those things. You need units to defend the SCVs, but then you need SCVs to build the units. So programming that as a bot author is very difficult. In comes more Lings for Dodo. Dodo is really just hampered by its larvae here too, so it really would benefit from more hatcheries. But anyway, it's coming in with a ton of Lings, and yeah, MechaShark is in a lot of trouble, down to 60 supply. It's currently 28 Marines, 5 Medivacs, so a lot of the Medivacs died. The 3-3 may finish here, but I don't know if there's going to be too many units left to benefit from this More SCVs are being produced, so that's what MechaShark is prioritizing here, but it kind of needs the units, not so much anything else at this point. And I mean, I'm always one to say mules in a dream, but that doesn't apply too much to AI. The +3 armor is done, so these Marines are so beefy compared to the Zerg force, but the mutas are still just microing pretty darn well against them. The +3 does seem to be putting out a lot of damage against these mutts. However, yeah, look at the supply. It's 37 supply against 100. I mean, yeah, MechaShark is not really mining at all at this point. The mules are still producing resources, but it's pretty much just been nothing but SCVs built, SCVs lost for the longest time. And it's that catch as a bot author. It's like, what do you possibly prioritize? And it's almost sort of a curse for bot authors, the fact that they have unlimited APM to produce SCVs all the time, because then you have to program that. Whereas a Terran, or whereas like a Terran player, you're pretty much just like, oh, well, I'm just going to build units because I need units, and then you don't think about building SCVs, so you're not bottlenecked by your mass SCV production, whereas that's what happened to MechaShark here a little bit. The control for Dodo was great. I'm loving this Mutabot, awesome to see, and yeah, MechaShark is done and dusted. So unfortunately that 100,000 APM was not enough to keep it alive, to keep it in this game. And I'll definitely cast another Dodo game. It would be interesting to see how much more depth this spot does have. And yeah, look at that. It's done mining all the gas in the main, so it's not transitioning. And so it's one of those things. A simple bot got, or a simple strategy got the W. Bots don't necessarily need a ton of depth. Dodo showed a great game. I am curious to see if this bot does get developed a little bit more for little things like, hey, take the gases at the 3rd. If you got a ton of resources in the bank, that sort of thing. Either way, though, a great game. And yeah, tune into A Freaka World on Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. You can watch that live, talk to Falcon Paladin and I. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning on in.